You're listening to Wiretap with Jonathan Goldstein on CBC Radio 1 and Sirius Satellite Radio 159. Today's episode, Part 4 in our ongoing series exploring the 7 deadly sins. Envy, in which a glove almost destroys a friendship, good news is used for evil, and a train ride to Montreal becomes one man's personal hell.
Hello.
Quick question for you. Did you ever find my glove?
What glove?
My glove that you have that you took from me.
You're not talking about this glove that you supposedly left at my house. What was it, like 5 years ago?
Yes, of course I'm talking about that glove.
I can't believe that you're still bringing this up.
May I depose you? And let me remind you that you're under oath. Did I not come to your house with 2 gloves, one for each hand?
I'll take your word for it that you did. I don't recall.
Did I not leave your house with 1 glove? Please do not speculate. Hearsay and conjecture is inadmissible. Did I not leave your house with 1 glove?
Are you not embarrassed to accuse me of stealing from you?
I don't accuse you of stealing anything. I think that what you did was kept my glove and not give it back to me. Not quite the same as stealing, but still perverse, weird, and I'm not sure what your motives are.
I can't believe you're still bringing this up after 5 years.
Why? Is my hand any less cold when I walk down the street every single day?
You've never bought a new pair of gloves.
Why should I buy a new pair of gloves? I have a pair of gloves. It's just that you're keeping one.
Let's back up here. Now, if I recall, you showed up to my apartment with gloves on your hands, even though it was the summer. Do you remember that?
You're leading the witness.
You refused to come into my apartment with ungloved hands.
It sounds accurate, yes.
Do you remember what you said to me?
I'm not taking my gloves off. I could catch something. Something like that.
Yeah. Do you know how insulting that is?
In a lot of cultures, it's considered rude to take your gloves off.
And you know, in my own defense, I don't even like gloves. I've always been more of a mittens man.
Okay, there's no such phrase as a mittens man. Mittens are for kittens. Mittens are for little boys and little girls.
Why?
Grown men don't wear mittens.
I like them.
Second of all, your story doesn't hold water, because how would you stick your fingers in your ears and up your nose and all the places that it shouldn't be if you're wearing mittens? Can't do that in mittens.
All right, Gregor, after you left, I think I remember I went when I was cleaning up my place. And
Not credible.
What's not
When do you clean up your place?
I did not find your gloves. Isn't it possible that maybe they fell out of your pocket? They fell out of your car?
No. The fact that you cleaned up and claim not to have found my glove does not mean that you did not take my glove, maliciously keep it for your own nefarious intentions.
What nefarious intent? What would I do?
I don't know, Johnny. My brain doesn't work like yours. Maybe you kept it because you're interested in voodoo.
Voodoo.
Maybe you created a voodoo doll of my left hand. Maybe at certain occasions you wear my left hand glove and you do things, terrible things.
Like what? What terrible things?
Maybe you put on the glove and you pretend you're me, or you pretend it's my hand.
What if...
You wish you could be me, but you know you can't. So you're going to start somewhere. You're going to be my hand, my left hand, in my left-handed glove. How about that for a motivation? How about you're going to put on your perverse little shows, dancing around in the moonlight, or whatever it is you do after dark, with my glove on your hand, envying me, and denuding my left hand of what is rightfully its gabardine. Yes, gabardine.
This might be the most egotistical thing you have ever said. The unbridled narcissism.
Johnny, I'm not with you on this one. You know what the poet Dante said? He wrote a book. It was called The Inferno.
Yes, I've heard of it.
In it, he talked about envy. And you know what he said he should do to naughty little boys who are envious? He said we should sew their eyes shut with wire.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm not threatening you, Johnny. I'm just telling you, it's a good thing you were not alive 1,100 years ago, because I could just see you chained to a lake of fire with your eyeballs sewed shut with wire.
What an image.
Just you and Satan and a lake of fire and a glove on your left hand for all eternity. And you know what? The glove is going to be ill-fitting, and maybe it's made of rattlesnakes that keep biting your hand all day long.
Yeah.
1,000,000 times a day the rattlesnakes bite your hand, and 1,000,000 times you say, ouch. That's my vision of you in hell, Johnny.
Once upon a time, there were 2 brothers. One was a farmer, the other a shepherd. For the shepherd, let's call him Abel, things always came easy. Abel liked hanging out with his sheep, had a decent relationship with his folks, liked making sacrifices to his Lord God, and enjoyed an all-right social life, dating his sisters and such. But for his brother, the farmer, let's call him Cain, things did not come as easily. He was something of a sourpuss with a disgruntled, what about me sort of quality. And so Cain one day decided that he wanted to be more like his happy-go-lucky brother Abel. But this proved impossible, for try as he might, his Cain-like essence just kept on leaking out, leaving him saturated in his own sad self. And so Cain turned to hating his brother, hating him for all the things his brother had that he could never have, hated him for his heart and his life, as though they were mere possessions that Cain, had he played his cards a little differently, could have had too. Now cut to a few thousand years later, and a young pop star by the name of Nicki Minaj is singing a song about this very subject. It is a song called Envy, and it is something that Abel might have sang, had he been a hip-hop artist rather than a sheep herder destined to be beaten to death by his brother. Nicki sings, "All they do is envy. Don't they know what's in me? Why they go against me? Just 'cause this little piggy went to the market, why is it that they make Nicki a target? Why indeed?" One possible answer, to borrow the words of Lord Chesterfield, people hate those who make them feel their own inferiority. That's why they make you a target, Nicki.
The main point about envy, I would say, it is the deadly sin that is no fun whatsoever.
This is Joseph Epstein. He wrote a great little book called Envy, which discusses this least fun of sins.
If you think of all the others, they entail a feeling of release or pleasure, but there's no joy of envy. Envy is the corroding, small, secret little vice that eats you up from within, and as such, I think it's the most powerful of all the deadly sins.
So, what is the difference between envy and jealousy?
One is jealous of what one possesses, and one is envious of what other people possess. So, therefore I can be jealous of my wife, but I'm envious of your beautiful lady friend, your Ferrari, your wealth. But it's not rational. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that so many of the main idea systems have put envy at the center. Think of Freudianism. Freudianism is chiefly about envy. The Oedipus complex. I envy my father. He's sleeping with my mother. Sibling rivalry. I envy my brother. He's getting more of my mother's love. Penis envy, the silliest of all.
So it sounds almost like envy is less a sin and more just an aspect of human nature.
There's not a culture in the world that did not have a word for envy, which makes one think that it is a part of human nature. The only people I can think of historically who are utterly free of envy were probably Socrates, Jesus, and St. Francis of Assisi. One might throw in Mother Teresa, but for the rest, all of us at one point or another have felt envy. The history of war could be the history of envy almost. We want their territory, we want their oil, we want their resources. It's all about envy.
Are you, do you ever feel envious?
I know as a younger writer, I envied the fame, the reclam that older, more accomplished writers have had. But I suppose you could say if you've had a reasonably good life, you kind of run out of envy. I've had a lucky life. I really have. I've been able to do exactly what I want with my life and be paid fairly well for it. But my guess is that a life that's filled with regret is probably also one that has known a lot and continues to know envy. Although one of the other things is that there can be no social, scientific, or psychological studies of envy. And the reason is not many people are willing to admit to it, because it's something that's just too appalling to admit to. I'd rather be accused of bad taste, poor judgment, so many things than I would be accused of envy, because it's such a small and mean emotion, Yet we've all felt it, I think.
All have certainly felt it, but most people go to great lengths to hide it.
I envy people all the time.
This is my friend Starlee, and she isn't like most people.
Yeah, I admit it.
She's so upfront about her capacity for envy that I almost find it enviable.
Like, I often feel envy because I am having, like, a really hard time, and because I am, like, so dissatisfied with my own life at the time that I kind of envy blindly in all directions. Everything I'm envious of, because I just want anything that isn't my life.
Like, you'll go for a walk to, like, get a coffee, and I
will go get a coffee, and I'll see the coffee shop people together talking and having this, like, real familiar kind of, like, coffee shop friendship.
What, the baristas?
Yes. And I will envy that they know each other, that they probably hang out after work together. I will envy that they know what to do, like that. That's
they know how to pour coffee.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Come on.
I can work up envy about anything. I have a lot of bank teller envy.
Why? You don't
so much bank teller envy.
I didn't know that you had any interest in banking.
I don't, and I even walked by the bank yesterday and I saw they were hiring, and like for a second I was like, oh, and then I was like, I can't be a banker. Obviously, I mean, they represent everything I don't want in life. But when I go to the bank and I see the bank tellers just being so put together, they just seem so good at what they do, like so good at all the steps that I will feel like murdering them. Like, I'd be so envious.
Murdering them?
Yes.
It's actually refreshing to hear you say that, because most people don't, readily admit to being envious.
It's crazy that they don't, though, because it's so obvious. Like, it's such a transparent trait for people to have.
Well, how do you feel? How does that manifest itself in others, as you've observed?
Like, I feel like sometimes people's reaction when they hear good news about someone else, they'll be like, "Oh, that's wonderful! I'm really happy for them," and I know that they're lying when they say that.
How do you know this?
The speed with which they say it, like it's like a reflex. They'll say it really, really fast, like it's this false buoyancy that happens.
So let's just play act here so that you could demonstrate.
Okay.
Hey, did you hear the good news? Bill just sold his first novel.
That's great. That's really great. That's really great news. I didn't hear that. I'm really happy for him. That's really great. And so he deserves it. What a nice guy. Like, I feel like there's certain people that I can even I can plant the thing that they will feel envious about, and I can anticipate their reaction.
You actually do that?
Yeah. I mean, it's horrible to say, but I feel like sometimes and I'm not proud of it, but I feel like I might have gone into the conversation deciding not to deliver some good news, and then I will, because the conversation takes this turn and I get annoyed or I get upset or something, and then I kind of come out with, "Oh, did you hear?" And then it's real, Is
that the actual tone that you use?
It's I'm not much of a mean girl, but I do feel like it's a kind of classic mean girl kind of move.
So you go around planting seeds of envy when you're the most envious person of all. I mean, I'm not someone who has a ton of great things befalling them, right? But there have been occasions when I've shared these things with you, and your face has visibly fallen. You make no attempt whatsoever to mask your envy.
I don't know if it'd be possible for me to. There's no separation of church and state between my outside reaction and my inward reactions as I move through the world. Exactly what I feel inside is what comes out.
Do you remember, I was trying to implement a little behavioral modification exercise between us, where when I would share something with you, I wanted you to repeat the words, "Jonathan, I'm happy for you."
Yes.
And you would say, "Jonathan, I'm happy for you," in the glummest tone.
I feel like I got better at it.
There was one point where we were walking down the street and I tripped on the sidewalk, and as I was lying on the ground, you looked down at me and said, "Jonathan, I'm happy for you." And I told you were missing the entire point of the exercise.
It's confusing. It's very hard to, it was a new emotion.
Yeah.
And you can be both legitimately happy and envious too. It just depends on how much your envy level takes over and obscures that level of happiness. I mean, the goal is actually for everyone to get what they want so that we can all just celebrate and be happy for each other. And we all get to, like, drink and have fun and have money and have love and have everything. And we really, and then if that were the case, we would have no problem celebrating our friends' achievements, I think. And I do think that is in our heads as the collective goal.
In Robertson Davies' novel, The Fifth Business, Dunstan Ramsay, the novel's protagonist, harkens back to an encounter he once had with an old frenemy from his youth. Ramsay says, "I was filled with sour scorn that I now know is nothing but envy, but back then I mistook it for philosophy. I didn't really want his clothes, I didn't really want his girl or his booze, but it scalded me to see him enjoying them." Ramsay's admission is the kind of pure, true thing that a character in literature will readily admit to, and it's a part of what makes the experience of reading literature such exciting business, the way it allows us access to someone's private, unfiltered, and unvarnished thoughts. In our public life, we wear a mask. We pat backs, rub shoulders, and laugh at jokes we don't really find funny. But in our private thoughts, where we spend most of our lives, where we've none but ourselves to judge us, we give rein to our very smallest, very meanest emotions.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Royal Canada, welcome aboard train 60 to Montreal. Train will be stopping by Guildwood, Oshawa, Cobourg, Belleville, Kingston, Rockville, Cornwall, Dorval, and Montreal.
Don't sit here, don't sit here, don't sit here. Oh, please, dear Lord who art in heaven, do not sit here.
Excuse me, would you mind if I sat here?
Sure.
Thanks very much. There was this older couple, they wanted to sit together, so I gave up my seat.
Ooh, big bag.
Sorry, mate. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze.
Train full of empty seats, but he sits down right beside me. Thank you so much. Well, what have we got here? Payless shoes, dollar store eyeglasses, vinyl briefcase. I'm sitting beside the 21st century Willy Loman. What is he pulling out? A sandwich? Oh no, oh no. He's eating a sandwich wrapped in wax paper. Only the best for Mr. Loman. Well, I'm going to be sick. What is in that soggy thing? It smells like... Is it... Oh my God, is that carpet? And something vinegary. Is this man eating a carpet and pickle sandwich? Just my luck to be seated beside a man eating the saddest sandwich in Canada. Can the smell of a sandwich be a hate crime? Is it possible he took some kind of adult education night class? How to make the saddest sandwiches in the world? Welcome, class. Did you bring your bread soaked overnight in toilet water like you were asked in the syllabus I sent out? Great, then let's begin. Oh, that smell! It's seeping into everything. I'll have to get my jacket dry cleaned. Maybe I'll just give it to a rail yard hobo when we detrain. Is he licking his fingers? Because with a sandwich this good, you don't want to waste a single drop. The world is a cesspool. Oh, here we go. Sure. What's a carpet sandwich without a can of no-name cola to wash it down? Gourmet Magazine recommends it. That or a thermos full of your mother's tears. Yeah, sure, read a book. Nothing like a little literature to relax after some fine dining. Oh. What is this? What in the world? Oh, no. Oh, God, it is. dear Lord, why do grown-ups have to read Harry Potter? Oh, God. No, of course. No, now it's a cell phone call. Of course. Go on. No. Answer it.
Hello?
For crying out loud.
Oh, hi, honey.
Oh, no, he's talking to the wife.
Oh, really?
Happy little housewife.
Yeah, actually, I ran into Fred at the oncology conference.
Oncology conference.
He mentioned this new treatment.
Okay, so he's an oncologist.
I'm sure more research needs to be done, but he seemed quite excited about it.
I get it. You're curing cancer.
Yeah.
You're a good person.
Yeah, the presentation went well.
We get it.
People seem to like the new book.
Why don't you just wear a sandwich board? It says, I'm better than you.
No, we went to the older one, the one we've been to before.
Mr. and Mrs. Sad
I'd
Sandwich.
actually read about it.
Married in the basement of some condemned mental hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is their life like together?
Leo and I shared
A little clapboard house at the end of an alley beside a carpet factory. Him coming home. Honey, start slicing pickles. Brought home a loaf of ring bologna and a roll of carpet. It's your favorite. Shag.
Oh, it's great, yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I haven't read the book. But, yeah.
I can just see it. Lying down together in their sad little taco-shaped bed.
Yeah.
Sharing with one another their sad little dreams. Their sad pickle-scented dreams.
Oh, yeah.
One day, I wish to eat a sliced turkey sandwich, he says, his face buried in her neck. And you will, she says. I believe in you. I believe in you.
That'd be quite tiring.
Why do I do this to myself?
Mm-hmm. I love you too, sweetheart.
Ew. Ew.
Wonderful.
He loves her. Oh, dear Lord, he loves her. He loves her. With all the might in his sad little heart, he loves her. This mousy little creature in a yellowing housecoat who sits by the window awaiting his triumphant return from the out-of-town sandwich convention.
Do I count? Because she drove us to the town.
God, how much longer is he going to talk? Yeah, we get it. You're in love. Get a room.
It just becomes natural.
Time and place, buddy. I mean, come on. With your self-superior lording it over. Forget it. I'm out of here. I'm going to find another seat.
Yeah.
I don't have to put up with this. I'm sorry. Can I just get past you? Goodbye, sir. Enjoy the rest of your train ride to sad Sandwichville without me. Now where to go? Loser. Sweaty loser. Looks like a chatty Cathy. Looks like a snorer. Oh, that is the ugliest sleep face I've ever seen. Yikes. It's the only seat left. I guess this will do. I'm sorry, is this seat taken? Thanks. Oh, that's right, yeah. Why move your knees so I could get through with my dignity? Much better to scoot around them. Nothing I enjoy more than a good scoot. Oh, Jesus. Look at the size of that rock. Wow. Well, that's an awfully big ring. Well, she certainly staked her claim on the armrest. Just what I need, a real armrest hoarder over here. Good God, she's practically got her nails dug right in there. Only property that she can claim that's rightly hers. Never had the stomach for real estate investment, but an armrest. That's something to really plant your flag in. Why are you doing this to me, Lord?
On Wiretap today, you heard David Rakoff reading a monologue by Jonathan Goldstein. You also heard Gregor Ehrlich, Starlee Kine, and Joseph Epstein, who's the author most recently of Gossip, The Untrivial Pursuit. Thanks to Joe Rogers and Brendan Baker. Wiretap is produced by Jonathan Goldstein, with Mira Birdwin-Tonic and Crystal Duhame. Tune into Wiretap Saturdays at 3:30 and Thursday evenings at 11:30. You can also hear Wiretap across North America on Sirius Satellite Radio 159. Or subscribe to the podcast at cbc.ca/wiretap, where you can also download the latest Wiretap ringtone.
Loser, loser, sweaty loser.
A thought bubble of petty judgment with every ring of your phone.